Dave Chaffee.
Dave Chaffee.
Here we go again. So, look, you and Dave have got genuine history. I mean, the last time
I feel like he has history. You know, I don't know why. Why does he hate me? What is it that bothers him so much about me?
I think that his initial statements were all around you being the face of the company.
Why did that bother him? And why did he even use those words? I mean, I was just one of the dudes. Like, why is he jealous? It's jealousy, right?
Could be, I don't know. But it also, your approach to things is very different from Dave. Dave's very straight-laced, clean-cut approach, the honor and respect. Your mind games, the art of war. You're about the getting into the head, chipping away at your opponent. Dave does not do that. He's all about go up there, let your arm wrestling do the talking. You're kind of like polar opposites.
I don't think Dave even knows what he is. I think Dave just does what he's told. I think it's that simple, you know. When I think of Dave Chaffee, I think of a guy who must have got spanked a lot when he was a kid. I don't know anything about his dad, but I think that his dad must have spanked him to a degree, or maybe his mom spanked him. I'm not sure. But somebody spanked him a lot, and basically I'm looking at a broken man. I'm looking at a guy who does what he's told, who doesn't really rise up and take risks in his life. Dude is a jailer, okay? He keeps people in jail. Mm-hmm. We're very different.
So let's get down to the sort of nitty-gritty of the match itself, mate. I mean, I'm going to rest my arm up my old ass arm here, son, because I'm not the man I used to be, Devon Larrett. Now, let's talk about the sort of nitty-gritty of the match.
Yeah.
You, the first time I think we saw you hit a Kings as hard as you did, was probably the WL match with him in it. It was LA, wasn't it?
Hit it hard.
And got super open, super extended, brutal, ugly affair.
Now, a lot of people, when they talk about that match, they're like, oh, it was a foul. I actually think that I was right on that line. A lot of people are like, oh, you're fouling, you're foul. I don't actually think I was really fouling. I don't think so. Like, if you want to talk parallel, right, the foul is parallel or beneath parallel. And I don't think I actually was. My arm was turned over and it was opening like this. I don't think that I was actually dipping. I don't think I was.
There was some seriously ugly positioning in there from both men. Dave almost ended up in a Kings. There's like there were some double Kings motions there. There were some
towards the end.
We're not talking Mike Telly, Tim Lewis, but it was pretty serious.
Yeah. I don't fall into that frame of thought at all where people are like, oh, this is like completely a foreign concept in my mind. I don't think like this at all. I'm just thinking about trying to win the match by any means. And you will never hear me say, oh, that was an ugly win. No, these are words that will never come out of my mouth. I will, if it's some kind of an unconventional win, to me, I'll think that's cool. Especially when a guy who doesn't seem to add up to be greater than the other guy somehow finds a way to win. I think that that's especially cool, and one should really look at that. It's been a lot of time.
So I'll do that bit for you. I mean, in my eyes, that match was like me getting out of a shower on a Sunday. I mean, it was downright ugly. And I actually feel like the rematch is going to be very different. And I'll tell you why. Because I think at that time you were experimenting with the techniques, and I actually don't think you were as clean in the Kings move, number one. I don't think you were as advanced and had been thinking about the Kings as much. I think now you've progressed physically and technically. So you've actually changed. Your hand and wrist is bigger, more imposing. You feel like you're much stronger and much more connected and much more proficient in that. But also, I think there's been a big change in you and Dave in that he started arm wrestling very differently. He's evolved his technique. And you've, if anything, started engaging more in orthodox arm wrestling and been happy to mix it up with people arm on arm. We just saw you with Gennady quick vignette and you ended up committing with the shoulder, diving in, full hook, super deep, super tight, a couple of times. I think if anything, you've moved one way and Dave's moved one way. And there is no similarity at all between the match we saw and the match we will see.
I think both of us have advanced from a technical perspective. Both of us have. I think the biggest difference is I'm stronger. I think if you level out everything.
Just looking at, do you think Dave has evolved to his almost final form yet? Or do you think he's at the moment stuck between two stools? So he's on a journey? Because his results suggest that they're a little bit more up and down. You remember like when Michael Todd had a bit of a wobble when he moved a bit away from the Kings move? And he was winning. He was amazing in the Kings. Then he started to go, or attempt to go more orthodox, and it actually worked against him. Do you feel like Dave has progressed and is more dangerous than he was? Or do you feel like he's caught between the evolution of his technique at the moment? Do you think like this could be, in some ways, an easier Dave Chaffee for you? Will you have more access points to him?
I think that Dave certainly has learned how to arm wrestle a little bit better than he did back in the WAL days. I think he is a better arm wrestler now from a technical perspective than he was back then. The thing is I think this match is going to be really bad for him because at the time that we pulled, there was a kind of the thing that he held on to, that even though he lost, I had to resort to some ugly arm wrestling, and that everybody knew that he was stronger. So I think he kind of held on to those things. And, you know, I never actually pinned Dave.
That day?
No.
Yeah.
Never pinned him.
Amazing.
He gave up every single time.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Never actually pinned him. I didn't want to. I wanted him to give up and quit. But he kind of held on to that somehow. I think he still has held on to it. And I don't think he's actually embraced the loss ever. I don't think he actually, inside of him, was like, yeah, Devon beat me and I need to work on some things. I think he kind of allowed himself the excuses to grow and to accept them. And somehow I think that crazy dude thinks he beat me that day somehow. I am going to really beat him up bad this time. I don't want there to be any questions. I'm going to beat him badly. I'm pretty sure of it. I think that the starting match is going to look very different. I think that the dominance that he had out of the gates, where I was really running to the corners of the sport, I don't think it's going to look like that. I think I'm going to break him badly. I think I will. And we don't have a lot of time. We both just competed 6 weeks. I'm going to plow right through. I have 4 hard weekends of arm wrestling, and I'll take 2 weeks off, and I'll come in there.
That's soon, isn't it?
Yeah,
wow.
6 weeks. Yeah, but my best prediction is round 1 will be 25 seconds of me riding that bull, and at the end of it, he's broken, and that's it. Yeah. And I'm the king of the north.
So let's walk through that scenario, right? And that happens to Dave that day. Do you think that would upset him mentally? I mean, he's just taken a
That's
heavy
the thing.
loss.
I feel bad for the guy a little bit.
Right.
Because I'm just the next guy who spanked him, you know?
So looking at his most recent outings, we had, let's get this chronologically correct, he had the win over Vitali in an amazing battle.
Amazing match.
He had the loss against, what was the next loss, was it?
Was it Hermes?
Was it Hermes? I'm going to say it was Hermes. So let's go with Hermes, which, considering all things that we now know with hindsight, Hermes there's no embarrassment
He
there.
did well.
I mean, my God.
Dave does really well. He's really strong.
Oh, God.
Like, he's crazy strong.
Unbelievably strong. I was actually shocked, very shocked at the Rivas Lutadze match, because very rarely do you see anybody run over Dave. I mean, in the history of Dave's career, I recall an incredible, probably the best ever shape of Travis Bagent running him over, but in very different fashion.
Yeah.
Obviously, Laval.
Yeah.
And Rivas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that we saw the best of Dave there? Or do you think in the back of Dave's mind, as emotional as he is about you, as much as that matters to him, do you think maybe he was ensuring that he was safe?
He told me he did that with Michael Todd.
Right.
And when I went up to him after East versus West, I'm like, dude, what happened? He jokingly, I think jokingly, said, yeah, I'm saving myself for you. He said that. He did say it. But I don't believe that to be true.
You think Rivas was just that strong?
I can't imagine people lay down. I just can't imagine people do it.
I can't.
To me, it's just so foreign.
I don't for 1 minute think that Dave led down. I think, did Dave have some kind of issue, injury? I really don't know. Did he suffer some damage in the match? I really don't know. Did you ask him about that? Did he say, I'd love to speak to him?
I didn't ask him. No, there's some floaters going around there that he's got a neck issue, which, he's had in the past.
He did have that.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's affecting him now. It's going to be a great match. I don't think Dave likes me. I don't think he likes the way I arm wrestle. I don't think Dave and I have the same concept of what a fight and a sport is. I don't think we have the same concept of what your freedoms are as a person in the world and how you're allowed to live. And, I think that Dave likes things. I think he likes a certain degree of order. I think Dave likes to lock people up. I think Dave likes his sandbox. I don't think that Dave's very comfortable in things that get wild and chaotic, and there's a contrast there. So, yeah, we'll see what wins.
So that's your first booking. We now know also that we've got a tentative date for the rematch of the Gennady Quick-Vinia match.
Yeah.
Now, you say you have contrasting style, contrasting beliefs, a lot of contrast there that's evident between yourself and Dave Chaffee. Probably the opposite of that with Gennady Quick-Vinia. I think there's a lot of similarities there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I see a lot of similarities between Gennady and myself. And I think that we can really raise it on this rematch. Like, I feel like I will evolve and he will evolve and both of us will push. I think that it's one of those matches where, like, if you let us keep arm wrestling, we will overtake each other in different ways. I'm excited about this rematch. Very excited. Yeah.
Who's got the pressure going into that now? I mean, obviously, some people, there's an enormous amount of support, an enormous amount of belief out there that you got a rough ride with the referees. Engin addressed that situation. I know that he's spoken about, and that will impact Engin. Engin very much wants the straightest possible scenario. He's aware of the angles, and he wants to make sure that he gets really good matches and whilst retaining that entertainment. But there's real fairness there, and because of that and because of that sensitivity to that scenario, he's bringing in a couple of North American referees. I believe Luke Pulci is one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know about the second ref, but I'm assuming it's going to be one of the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Now, they believe, or the community believes, that rough ride that you got with the referees, if that was done differently, you may have had some dominant positions there which you could have exacted and made it a much easier day. Speaking to yourself, I know that you've got sort of your opinions of that change on a daily and maybe hourly basis to some extent. Where would your confidence be at going into a rematch or going into this rematch, given the amount of time, given the amount of work that you've got to do between now and then?
Yeah, I've got a ton of respect for Gennady. I think it's a good fight. But I think we've somewhat established that on that day, my hand was better, his arm was better. And when I say arm, specifically his shoulder, elbow. Because I think that I was able to establish some nice hooking positions, and I was establishing some nice shoulder positions, but most of them based off of my hand being able to get me into those positions. We're close. I think out of the gates, I think I dominated. I think that there were things that happened in the match that definitely could have changed the outcome, be them internal or external. So there's a lot to relook at, a lot to run back, and I'm confident. Yeah, I'm confident I can change the outcome.
Looking at the lay of the land now, mate, at the upper echelons, it's becoming quite a messy scenario, isn't it? This one guy beats another guy who you didn't think he was going to beat. And I mean, Rivas is a good example of that. Rivas has just absolutely made a statement there, and it does raise questions. I mean, we're with Daniel, Adam from the Iron House. Guys, from watching that, Adam, do you want to just come over, mate, as well? Just speaking to, for those who don't know, Adam Johnson from Ireland, one of the guys who was on the Iron House 2 card. Did you watch the Rivas match, mate?
Yeah, seen it. I'm shocked. I knew that guy was thereabouts, but he's like, where is he? How good is he?
That's the thing, isn't it? Where is he now? Where do you put him? Where do people think? If Dave, no issues, he did something extraordinarily impressive. Daniel, what were your opinions of that, mate?
Rivas versus Dave?
Yeah, what did you think?
Pure domination. Yeah.
Where would you put Rivas now? In your mind, do you see him? Is he better than you thought?
No, I knew Rivas was going to go very far after the match he had with Derek. Because I saw after the match with Michael Todd how he leveled up. And I knew it was only a matter of time. So, I would actually rank Rivas above Gennady. That's probably not a popular opinion, but I would.
Would you tend to agree with that, Dev? Do you? He's on the grapes.
I don't think so. I think Gennady's probably the favorite because of his versatility. And what I've seen in footage so far would suggest to me that Rivas can absolutely take his hand, but it seems like, on any kind of a stop match, Gennady's winning, and I think that Gennady can stop the match. I think he can.
So, if we look at it right now, we had a couple of statements made at East versus West. We got Rivas coming in there hard. Gennady will obviously take enormous pride from the win he had over yourself. He'll put himself right in there. Do you think now let's say he's able to beat yourself, where does that put him? What's an obvious rematch? Does he go for the Jerry Colorette match? Does he go for Hermes? Is Hermes above Jerry? Because they're pulling soon. What day is that? June, is it? When do they pull?
I believe they pull in July.
July. So we're going to see Jerry and Hermes then. Now, if Gennady was to beat you, do you think he goes for Jerry or do you think he goes for Hermes? Because does he leapfrog and go straight for the title to Jerry? Or does he go for the rematch option, which we've heard in the past him say that he felt like on a different day he could have beaten Hermes? Do you think he can beat Hermes?
I think Hermes is the favorite.
Yeah. Adam, who would you have in that?
Yeah, I think I'll have to back Hermes as well.
Hermes has looked good, hasn't he?
Hermes is very versatile and very strong and fast.
So let's talk about Hermes and Jerry. How do you see that?
Hermes has got to be the favorite. But it is not impossible.
Oh my God.
No. Like, Jerry is dangerous. The thing is Jerry's most dangerous against guys who don't have inside game. Hermes has tremendous inside game.
He's even got a press option that we know of.
I mean, I have to think that Hermes is the favorite. Jerry's very motivated, and I have a feeling that Jerry's very strong right now.
Yeah.
I think that Jerry's confident that there's a resurgence of the floppers press right now.
Yes, there is.
It's very visible to anybody who's paying attention that the floppers is very effective. I think for two reasons. I think that it's one of those moves that, happens very quickly, and if you don't execute perfectly, you're in very big trouble that you can't get out of. I think that because of the rise of top rolling over the last few years as well, it's kind of left a hole there. And also, the floppers press was devalued very much in WAL.
Yep.
Because of the 2 extra inches off the back. So it really had a real dead period there for that entire play. So now it's having,
Apart from with Jerry.
yeah, but even
who
Jerry
stuck
wasn't
to
able,
it.
yeah, but Jerry wasn't able to do it half as well as he normally could.
No,
These guys
probably not.
could run further. from
Yeah,
it.
probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, I mean, I've got to say it, mate. Obviously, people are saying this is the battle for the true number 1 in North America between yourself and Dave. If you're Jerry Colorette and you're sat there in Massachusetts, you're like, what the?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because Jerry has never beat either Dave or myself.
No.
Yet he's had some better results than Dave and myself.
Styles
Recently.
make matches, mate. We know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Jerry
I'll pull him.
is, oh, mate,
I'll
you know
definitely pull
where.
him.
I'll
definitely
come to
pull
the
Jerry
arm wars,
Carteret.
Jerry Colorette.
I'll definitely pull Jerry Carteret.
Let's go here.
Because, Neil, I don't know if you know this, but I am way too strong.
Jerry, please tell me you're listening to this, son. Let's go, Ginger Dread Man.
That guy, I tell you, Jerry he thinks he's so good, Jerry, but he's got the floppiest wrist you could imagine. You can't be a flopper's presser and be the world champion, right? Like, that has never happened, am I right?
Jerry's gonna destroy you.
Like, it's an open, whoa. Like, when you look back in the history of the sport of arm wrestling, we've had top rollers, we've had hookers, we've had pressers.
We've got Jerry.
We've never had a flopper's presser be recognized as the number 1 guy on the planet. Never. Never happened.
I mean, there is that argument that, I don't know, there is that time. Remember that one time?
He's never been recognized as the number 1 ranked guy. Not him, not any
So let's
flopper.
wind the clock back, right, to 2000, Virginia Beach.
Yeah. This is not your number 1 ranked in the world.
Really?
No.
Who could beat Jerry Colorette that year? Really? Who?
Oh my God. That year?
Yeah.
2000 Virginia Beach.
2000 Virginia Beach when Jerry won Worlds. Who could beat Jerry that time? For sure.
Well, could John beat him?
I don't think so.
No?
No, not that year. That wasn't a solid prime John. It was
this is 23 years ago.
It is 23 years ago. But if you're, if I'd been
Like
overall
23
number 1 in the
years-
world,
like,
I don't care when it was, I would have been
Listen,
like, remember that time,
It's
Jim?
completely defaulted because Gary Goodrich used to whack him so easily.
At back in the old Yukon Jack days.
Yeah, it's the
But
one-
that was a baby Jerry as well.
Oh,
He
come
was
on, listen.
evolving.
Yeah.
Since he got the sausage gravy sponsorship and, really
about-
got on it, Jerry's been iron.
No. He's never been the number 1 in the world. Never. Now, I refuse to accept that.
So who's he, Jerry and Levon, is that ever going to happen?
If he beats Hermes, it'll happen.
I know they were going to arm wrestle for a couple of cars once after
If Jerry beats Hermes, it'll happen. But it's
But
not
you
gonna-
think he's going to lose to Hermes? Then he's going to come to Arm Wars and you're going to beat him?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'll beat him. I'll beat Jerry again.
can Jerry do anything with Dave Chaffee? Hasn't been able to previously.
I don't think so. I'm just going off past results. I mean, Dave grabs him a bit low and just rips him over.
What a tangled web the super heavyweight division is.
Sure
Maybe the most tangled it has ever been.
Yeah.
And we've not even talked about LARRATT. I mean, we saw him come out on his left arm. It's not his favourite arm. And he looked really polished. We haven't spoken about Steel Morozov.
Nope.
Where's he fit into all this? Where does he fit into all this? How good is Artem Morozov? Can he beat Jerry Colorette?
Good match.
Who's the more difficult opponent? Artem Morozov or Vitaly LARRATT?
Vitaly LARRATT.
Yeah.
For who?
Let's talk about you first.
Vitaly LARRATT.
I agree. Who's the most dangerous opponent, Jerry Colorette or Morozov? Who wins that match? Who wins
That's a nice
in a
match.
fantasy match between Steel Morozov and the Ginger Dread Man?
Nice match.
In it?
Nice match.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a nice match.
it is.
Yeah. Jerry can win that match. That's a close match, I think. Because I think that Morozov is mostly outside. He's mostly posting, rolling. And I think Jerry will get his shoulder in. And I don't think Morozov is strong enough just to dismantle him quickly. And when it's endurance, Jerry's very sticky there.
So I'm taking it you feel like Morozov, who I believe is next out and is going to be Laban,
Yeah.
get outgunned? How's that go?
Yeah, I think so. I think stylistically he's in a good place, but no. Levon is very special, I think. Like, I do not currently see someone in the sport right now that I think is the favorite. I think everyone is the underdog. Like, basically everyone is like a long shot.
Yeah.
Long shot.
And let's talk about, we'll get back to where we started off, your forthcoming endeavours. We start with Dave, we then go to Gennady, we then go to Dennis, isn't it?
I don't really want to speak past that. I really think that I do myself a disservice by, viewing the thing like 3 steps into the future and publicly speaking about it.
Is this thing hot? Is the progression, is the path harnessed to win-loss?
Yes,
Does
of
that
course.
matter?
Of course
If
it
you
does.
take a loss, do you then rethink?
Yes.
Why?
Because to me, there's things that I am seeking a close challenge, a meaningful challenge. If I'm losing at a level, I feel like I should not progress. If I'm winning too dominantly, then I need to progress further. And you never know what happens with injuries with me, with the other opponent, with things in my life. I don't like to plan 3 or 4 matches in advance. I feel it's just crazy. Yeah.
So,
Even though I'm like 4 matches deep right now.
yeah, and if things go well,
Yeah.
and you do win the rematch, is it a
Yeah.
rubber match?
I think that will depend on how it looks.
Would you want that?
He's been so kind to grant me this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so a
I
lot.
think there's a lot of pressure there as well.
Yeah, there is.
Because if you're a proud guy, which Gennady is, and a competent guy, and a guy that wants to have no doubt,
Yeah.
then, and you hear the arm wrestling community is in a little bit of uproar going,
Right.
oh, it wasn't a legit win. What do? You take
Yeah.
your chance, and the man stands up and he goes, let's fucking go again then.
Yeah.
You can't knock that. And win, lose, or draw,
Right.
hats come off,
Right, yeah. So I think that we see how it looks this time. If he beats me again, I wouldn't ask him for another rematch.
Okay.
If I beat him, if it was close, and if he wanted it, I would probably.
And is it
oblige
more
him.
meaningful if it does go to a rubber match that you do that a little later, so you both got time to
Yeah, I think
change
we
your
should, yeah. If we were to have a third, we should give it some time, because I feel like this first one was very tight. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do it again quite quickly.
Yeah.
But if I do beat him, then I think that probably the rematch would happen with a little bit more time.
And would you prioritize that ahead of Dennis?
I think that probably we've given enough time that I could move on to another opponent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where is Dennis in this? I mean, I know
Super
you have
high.
massive.
Super high.
Yeah.
Dennis, to me, is, out of all the athletes, I have him as the most credible threat right now to beat Levon.
Let's talk about people who have been forgotten in all this mix. What about Mr. Alex Kadetcha?
Yeah.
Where's Alex?
Yeah, very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very dangerous dude, massive guy, insane natural strength and size and structure. Super takeoff, super explosive, has been very quiet.
I spoke to Alex a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I proposed something to Alex. I gave him a little tickle and said, what about this? And he was quite open to it,
Yeah.
my friend.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I like the way you said that. That's
What do you mean?
yeah, that's a good match.
Yeah.
Rematches are nice. That's a nice rematch. Yeah, I'd be really interested to see that because that's the thing. I mean, when he did that the first time, everybody was like, okay, this is. And then I mean, since then he went a bit cold. But yeah, love to see him come back. That's another guy who could do it.
Tangled web.
Yeah.
The super heavyweight division. Ladies and gents, we'll be back with more from the house. But yeah, hope that gave you a few little bits of insight on what's going down in the mother fluffing town.